Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host. He is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger, aka, as Juan just said, Blanche Jackson. But anyway, that Human Nature song I was just singing, y'all know that Human Nature song was written by two people, and the song, even though it's a classic song, the chorus of the song, you listen to the song, the chorus of the song actually doesn't match the words of the song, because the chorus of the song came from a guy and his daughter who was going to school, and a young boy liked her, and he was like messing with her, but he really liked her. He was hitting her and stuff. So it's like the song has actually two different meanings. But anyway, welcome back, y'all. I hope y'all doing well today. Stacy said, how could you have just 10 viewers in a live? Are you shadow banned? This is peculiar. Yes, I am shadow banned. I've been shadow banned for 4 years now. I tried to explain this to somebody, but they didn't want to hear it. But yeah, I've been shadow banned for 4 years now. I haven't gained any new followers in 4 years. If I gain one follower, I lose two. It's insane. But anyway, hopefully one day the Lord will bless me. The Lord will give me back all of the years that the globalists ate up. And hopefully I'll get my just reward. But anyway, hope y'all doing well today. I am Goddess Divine. What's up? What's going on? How you doing? What's Blanche saying these days? Y'all about to find out. But anyway, what's up, y'all on YouTube? What's up, Prudence? What's up, Paul? What's up, Miss Graves? What's up, Tierra? What's up, Sewing for Night? Today's title is Anti-Semitism or Human Nature. And I've been listening to a lot of debates about the state of Israel and I guess being pro-Israel and not being pro-Israel. I've been listening to debates, and I have to admit that sometimes the pro-Israel people win and sometimes the pro-Israel people lose. Sometimes the I'm against Israel people win and sometimes the I'm against Israel people lose. I guess what I'm saying is that this whole conversation and what's going on is a lot more nuanced, and it's not just black and white. It's to say that because someone disagrees with Israel or the Israeli government, that they're actually anti the actual people. There is the Israeli government, there is the state of Israel, there is the people of Israel, and there is the actual land of Israel. Those are four different things, and they are not the same. A person could disagree with all of them or just one of them, or I don't. But my point is just to say it's anti-Semitism is I don't agree with that, and I believe that saying that caused a lot of contention in the conversation. But I'll be talking about this today from purely a surface level. Most folks don't know the history of Israel or Palestine. Most folks really are just giving their opinion on how they feel about Israel or how they feel about Jewish people. It's not really anything based on something other than a feeling. But I will say that a couple of years ago, I went and looked up there's 5 major media companies, and 4 of them have Jewish CEOs. Now, does that mean that the Jews run the entertainment industry? No. That means that 4 companies have Jewish CEOs. It doesn't mean that every Jewish person walking around is a part of some diabolical plot. But I will say that Jewish people do lump themselves together when it comes to something that they believe is good. Where there is success, they'll say that we Jews do this, but then when there's something bad, they'll say, well, not all Jews. My stance on that is you can't have it both ways. The same way I would get on the Nick Fuentes's and all of them when they say we built this and we did that, I say that's cap. Y'all ain't built nothing. Y'all have not built nothing. So I would say the same thing to the Jewish people. If you all are going to take credit for everything that you believe is good, you got to take the credit for everything that you believe is bad. You can't pick and choose. Anyway, but again, in my opinion, that's what caused a lot of contention too, is that on one hand, you'll say we are successful in these areas, and then you'll say, well, when it's bad, we're not a part of that. You can't have it both ways. And I would say this to anybody, not just Jewish people, but to anybody. I don't believe that all people are participating in this global agenda. I believe that every group of people, whether they be Jews, Chinese, Africans, Asian, whatever you want to pick, Indians, whoever you want to pick, they are elite people of each segment of the population that are doing the will of Satan. And that's just how I see it. I don't think it's just one group of people doing the will of Satan. No, I believe it's multiple group of people doing the will of Satan, because Satan doesn't care about race. So why would Satan just pick one group of people? I'm gonna do it. I don't believe that. I believe that everybody participating in the will of Satan, the elites. What's up? Did I say I see Real Talk? Nikki, what's up? Patrick, what's up? Carl, what's up? Goddess Navi, what's up? K-Mac, what's up? Cruise Missile, what's up? Yeah. So, but let's get into it though. I'm gonna play his videos by Thomas Sowell as he breaks down. And I saw this video before, but I just saw some Jewish influencer they were using this clip. So I said, okay, let me talk about this. Tell them that it's human nature. Why does he do it that way? Okay, well, first, let me play the clip that went viral on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Let me play this clip real quick. And I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. Jay Green said, what about the Jesuit order? I mean, again, Jay Green, there are so many conspiracy theories about who runs the world. They say aliens, the Jesuits, the Catholics, the Vatican, the Jews, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, the black nobility, the other families, but you know, the Medicis and all of them, or all of them, like there's so many conspiracy theories about who runs the world, to where I don't know. It's just it's a lot of them out there. It's a lot of them. The Pope, people believe the Pope is the Antichrist. I mean, it's a lot. But let me play this clip first. So on the Fresh and Fit podcast, there was some young ratchets on there, and one of them was talking about Hitler and the Jews, and the other girl chimed in. Both of them were black women. But I want you to pay attention to what I'm telling you. Myron Gaines has been talking about the Jews for at least a year, and none of his clips have gone this viral. Now I'm gonna play the clip, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Why do you all think that this clip is going viral when Myron Gaines has been talking about this nonstop for a year? Why do you think that this clip went viral? We're gonna play it. Tell them that it's human nature. Why does he do me that way? Go back and listen to that song, y'all, and tell me if the chorus matches the lyrics.
What if the Jewish did something to the Germans that made them act a certain way, but nobody wants to talk about it? Like, the Jews don't want to take accountability.
That's
They
good,
don't.
That's
Yes.
No.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
That's why like there was up to something, so the Germans wanted to take them out.
Like payback.
It had to be something. Like, Germans wanted to take them out, all of them out.
They damn near
Martin
wiped
said
everybody
something.
off the map.
Something.
They started it.
So get somebody
Damn,
that
he
mad.
cheesing
Here we
hard
go.
like, yeah, talk shit about them. Eat them up.
The Holocaust was the only way he can take out a huge population, like a huge amount of Jews all in one setting. But I already know what's going on. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I know, like, the Jews did something. That's why they sent up here they're trying to take back, like they're trying to take back and get repercussions, especially from America, like from Americans. So they're taking over the government and stuff like that.
I'm telling you.
So now clearly this young lady don't know, she don't know anything. But again, I'm not knocking her for having her opinion. I'm just saying the girl said they want repercussions. I'm like, anyway, but my point is, so this clip has gone viral and everybody is jumping on this clip. Everybody's jumping on this clip. And I'm going to say this. Why do you all think everybody is jumping on this clip right here? Now, Myron Gaines has been talking about the Jews. I'm talking about going in for a year. And none of his rants have done this. He's been on podcasts. He's done street reviews. But none of his rants for a year straight have done this. Why do you think that everybody is up in arms about this young lady who clearly, I mean, she got an opinion, but I mean, I'm just repercussions. Why do you think everybody is jumping on this? Why do y'all think? I'm gonna keep playing it, but just hold that. Let me keep playing.
How do we take them down?
How do we take them down?
Yeah.
I mean,
gotta kill the motherfuckers.
I had to say it.
My bad, y'all.
Chill.
My bad.
Hitler, he had the plan, but his plan was just too very gruesome, if we can say it.
Listen,
He said,
he had to do what he had to do.
But he had to do it.
He was like,
Listen, he was trying to save the world.
I agree.
It didn't work out. He just didn't.
I mean, Jews are the reason why the healthcare system and everything around us in the government is collapsing, because they're sitting up here stealing away from the American people.
What do you guys think about Hitler?
What if the Jewish did something to the Germans that made them act a certain way, but nobody wants to talk about it? Like the Jews don't want to take accountability.
Oh,
they don't. That's
yes.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
That's why. Like,
okay, so this clip has caught the. Now, I keep telling you all, and I'm gonna tell you this all again, that Black people are the people of influence. I've been telling you all this, and I got that from Megan McGlover almost 5 years ago. Black people are the people of influence. So Myron Gaines doing all this he's been doing is going to pale in comparison to a little girl who doesn't know anything. All that he's been doing on a campaign for a year pales in comparison to this girl's take on Jews and Hitler. It's because Black people are the people of influence. That's why. So no matter what Myron Gaines says, it's only going to be looked at a certain way. No matter what Nick Fuentes says, it's only going to be looked at a certain way. Think about it. This video that you just saw right here, everybody's jumping on it. Holocaust denial. Well, she didn't even deny it. She didn't deny it. She just gave it a reason why it was done. But these things have been said. What she said has been said millions of times before without the word repercussions. But the basic sentiment of what she was saying has been said every day, all the time. It's said. But my question is, why was this such a big deal on his show when he's been doing this? I'll tell you why. Because Black people are the people of influence. So when somebody Black, whether they know what they're talking about or not, whether they're articulate or not, the fact that it's a young Black girl having the audacity to say what she's saying on this pod, this ain't TV. It's not a major network. This is on Rumble. And think about it. What this girl said, they're trying to come after the CEO of Rumble. Think about what I'm telling you. Myron Gaines has been taught, he done said worse than this for a year. He's been on a campaign going hard, podcasts, shows, everything. And then when this girl opens her mouth, now they mad at the CEO of Rumble. You know why? Because Black people are the people of influence. It's not a flex. It's not a badge of honor. It's not. It's a responsibility. And again, she is allowed to have her opinion. She is allowed to have her views. She is. But my question is, how are you going to stop this? If people are sitting back saying we got to stop this, how are you going to stop this without infringing upon people's rights? This is what I told you all about 3 years ago. I told y'all, I said, what this is going to end up being is a violation of people's rights, because you're going to say that you can't say this. You can't have this opinion. You can't vocalize it. And y'all saying, Blanche, ain't no way. I'm telling y'all, if 2020 didn't teach y'all anything, what it should have taught you was that these governments, these leaders will all come together for a cause. We saw it. Wasn't nobody fighting, wasn't no nuclear weapons, none of that. In 2020, we saw the entire world get on the same page for something that was complete cap. So what I'm saying is that if this is a problem, how are you going to fix it? Nicodemus said, it's one thing to have an opinion, but another to call for genocide. That is true. It is. Just like it's one thing to puff your chest out, but it's another to issue a threat to somebody. That is true. That is true. But my question is, did she call for it? Did she agree with it? This is my question. How much can she say without free speech being violated? My point is that is this human nature or is this anti-Semitism? And I came up with this question. I'm gonna play this video of Thomas Sowell, and this is what made me think of this question.
For the Jews come from in history?
Number of places, but they are people who have succeeded an awful lot in the midst of other people who have not. Years ago, one official of one of the Jewish organizations in New York asked me, well, what can Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face? I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
So the source is success.
It's not only the success, it's the success starting in poverty, as the Jews did in the United States and many other countries. And so you not only see them succeed, you see them rise up from the bottom, past other people. The people they've passed don't like it. But there's also the fact that the role they play economically has never been understood. They're middlemen or they're money lenders, and the argument is they really aren't producing anything. You can't see anything tangible that they don't stand at a production line turning out widgets. And so the argument is that they're not producing anything. They're gratuitously inserting themselves between the producer and the consumer, and they're parasites, essentially. And this argument has been made, again, not only about the Jews, but about similar groups around the world. And in a number of places, they have expelled those people, or forced them out by mob actions, forced them to flee. And after they left, the economy has collapsed. But it never teaches the lesson to know they were doing something.
So you heard Thomas Sowell, and there's another clip, but the basic sentiment that he's making here is he's saying that people dislike the Jews because of success. So my question is that anti-Semitism or is that human nature? There's a saying that says success breeds envy. This is a common saying. So my question is the people's, we can say hate, dislike, or whatever, is it from just I hate Jews because they're Jews? Or is it because I hate Jews because they're successful? And we all know just in real life that we've had people in our lives that may be jealous of us or envious of us and all types of things. But my question is, how do you determine what's human nature and what's anti-Semitism. You know, when I was coming up, being a hater was a big deal. You know, when I was growing up in the 90s, being a hater was a big, everybody was a hater. You hate, you PH and you PH player hating, you PH and it started out as being a PH and you player hating. Then it just kind of went to just hating, but it used to be PHing. But my point is that we all experience us having some success or being who we are and people not liking it and maybe even want to do harm to us. But is that something that is quote unquote controllable, or is it just human nature? Is it human nature to just hate somebody that's more successful? Now, my opinion is that when somebody is successful, you automatically do a self inventory. You automatically self-assess. When you see somebody that's successful, you automatically look at your life and say, okay, where have I failed? Why am I not in that position? Now, you got one or two outcomes. Either a person's going to say, either I failed in life because I made poor choices and poor decisions, or I'm failing in life because someone is oppressing me and keeping me down. This is why I talk about how history is presented, because history is presented with a victim's narrative. So the average person is conditioned and programmed to see themselves as a victim. They are. They're when we come up, it's always something trying to take over the world. It's always some kind of force, some kind of power. Think about Superman. You got Superman coming to Earth. Who is his mortal enemy? Lex Luthor. There's always somebody that wants to dominate the world. There's always somebody in the background. There's always somebody pulling the strings. So when we get history growing up, it's largely from a victim's narrative. When we talk about slavery, victims. Native Americans, victims. The white immigrants coming over here, victims. Chinese on the railroad, victims. Like it's always from a victim narrative. It's never from an objective view. It's never from, you know what, it's never. It's always from somebody is oppressing me. So I believe a lot of the Jew view, if that's the thing, the Jew view, is from programming and conditioning. It is, in my opinion. The average person, I believe, ain't even really thinking about Jews, honestly. I don't. I believe that most Americans support Israel. Most people in government support Israel. The young lady speaking in the Myron clip, that's not most people. But I do ask the question, how are you going to stop this without infringing upon rights? Where does free speech get blurred? Now, I agree with Nicodemus, you know, calling for the execution or genocide or deletion of a group of people is insane. That's satanic and demonic. Okay, we get that. But are they just, I guess my point is, anti-Semitism as a phrase isn't just stopping there, is my point. It's not stopping right there. It's going across the whole thing. They're taking anti-Semitism, they're going across the whole thing. I don't agree with it. I don't agree, but let's continue. Oh, hold on one second. Let me get this one. I'm gonna put up a quote by Thomas Sowell. Envy was once considered to be one of the seven deadly sins before it became one of the most admired virtues under its new name, social justice. Envy was once considered to be one of the seven deadly sins before it became one of the most admired virtues under its new name, social justice. So think about what Thomas Sowell said about people hating the Jews because of success, and then also when it comes to social justice, the same thing. And this is why I asked the question, is it anti-Semitism or is it human nature? Is it the human condition to automatically do this? Because again, everybody does this. We see somebody that may look better than us, may be more in shape than us, may present better than us, may have more money than us, better house than us. We do this automatically and subconsciously. And we ask two questions. Am I here because of my own doing, or am I here because someone has held me back? Those are the two things we come up with. To me, it's human nature more than it is anti-Semitism, because if the Jews left tomorrow on a spaceship, it would just be a new group. If the Jews left tomorrow on a spaceship, it would just be a new group. It wouldn't stop. Like, they would still be saying, okay, this is what they would say. They say, well, the Jews are gone. Well, you know what? It really wasn't the Jews. They were just working for the Chinese. They would just make something up. I don't believe in the whole victim narrative. I don't believe in people being oppressed. I don't believe that because someone dislikes Jews, there's going to be another Holocaust. Just like I don't believe that because somebody dislikes black people, people going to be in slavery, even though people are enslaved today. Nobody cares. But I don't believe that people's opinions and thoughts are automatically going to lead to the most tragic human outcomes. I don't believe that. I don't believe that it's possible in today's time to have a Holocaust. I don't. Now, it's possible to have slavery because we have it. But I don't think it's possible to have a Holocaust because there's too many people that are willing to fight with it. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's impossible to happen. It's not. I wanted to go to a scripture where we talk about, let's go back into the Bible, Genesis chapter 4, verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with him, Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Now, we went back in time, but I wanted to show that Cain killed his brother out of jealousy. He saw the way God treated Abel. He saw the way that God treated him, and he had a decision to make. He said, either God is treating me this way because of what I'm doing, or God is treating me this way because of that guy, my brother, Abel. And so he killed his brother. And so again, I ask, is it anti-Semitism or is it human nature? Is it racism or is it human nature? Now, of course, I've been very vocal about not liking the term anti-Semitism, not liking the term racism, because if a person dislikes somebody, they have a reason. We may not agree with the reason, but they have a reason. They got a reason. I don't like them because of this. If you ask somebody that doesn't like Jews why they don't like Jews, they're going to give you a laundry list of reasons. It's not just because they're just Jewish. If you ask somebody that doesn't like a black person or black people, they'll give you a laundry list of reasons, but it's not just because they're black. It's because of what they're doing or perceived to be doing, what they represent, all of that. But it ain't just simply because they're that, because they're going to give you a reason. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, they're going to give you a reason. Real Talk Nikki says human nature versus sinful nature. And again, when we have these conversations, we have to be honest. We got to be honest. We got to be honest. If you get on a platform and you say the reason why someone doesn't like me is because I'm successful, it's going to make more people not like you. Because the premise of what you're saying is if these people disagree with me, they're anti-Semitic. And they're anti-Semitic because they're envious and jealous. When in actuality, that might not be the case. People can disagree with Bibi Netanyahu and not be anti-Semitic. People can disagree with the Israeli government and not be anti-Semitic. People can disagree with how Israel was formed and not be anti-Semitic. People can say, I don't believe that they're chosen and not be anti-Semitic. I don't believe that they got a direct lineage to Abraham and not be anti-Semitic. What I'm saying is that it doesn't have to go to the most nefarious intent because someone doesn't like or disagree with. And to me, that's where the conversations always end up getting lost, because it gets muddied in anti-Semitism versus these are my reasons why I do not like you or what's going on or anything. And again, I ask, how can we solve this problem without infringing upon free speech? And we saw this back in 2020. We saw that if a person spoke out against what was going on when it came to the Peter pandemic or when it came to those snake bites, it was severe consequences. The Biden administration put out something, and it said that if you were against the Peter pandemic measures, the COVID measures, if you were against how they were treating humanity, that you were a domestic terrorist. If you question 9/11, domestic terrorist. You see how the slope got so slippery? Do you mean to tell me if I don't agree with how you all are handling COVID-19, then that means I'm on the domestic terrorist list? And I can show it to you. They put it on TV. They literally did. The Biden administration, Homeland Security. They said if you were celebrating national holidays, domestic terrorists. If you were an election denier, Holocaust denier, election denier, domestic terrorists. So you see how, even though they tell you, and I agree, they're calling for the genocide of a group of people is dangerous and should not be done. What I also believe is equally dangerous is to say that if you are against this, that you are automatically a domestic terrorist, and that means you need to be what? Locked up. And again, when we are having these conversations, we have to be honest. We got to be honest. J.V. Chanel coined it perfectly. Muslims despise Jews because the Muslims believe they have the final revelation from God. Yet it seems God has always made a way for Israel, not Saudi Arabia. That could be an argument. That could be an argument. Why do they have so much success and Saudi Arabia doesn't? That's an argument. Yes, Tierra. Yes, Tierra. They were calling for us to die. Doctors were coming out and saying they didn't want to treat patients that didn't get the snake bite. Like, we saw this in real time. We saw this in real time, and everybody's trying to act terrified now, but we literally saw a Holocaust in this modern era. How many people do you all think have perished from the snake bites? How many people do you all think have perished from the snake bites? How many? You think it's a couple 100,000? Million? Miss Gray said millions. Baby for Life said too many. Tierra said millions. So we saw a real live Holocaust in real time with the same campaign. The same campaign. If you wear a mask, you're a good person. If you don't wear a mask, you're the enemy. We saw the same campaign, the same rhetoric in real time, except the difference is everybody was a part of it. You see, it'd have been different if it was just one country that did it. It would have been different if it was just a few countries that did it, but they all did it. Even Benjamin Netanyahu, because Israel had the highest snake bite rate. And they achieved that because they said, if you don't get this poke, you cannot be a part of society. So as democratic and liberal as Israel is, they weren't during the Peter pandemic. As freedom fighting and about liberty as America is, the whole country wasn't during the Peter pandemic. All of these, Australia, liberal, democratic, but not during the Peter pandemic. All these Western countries that are so democratic and believe in so much freedom during the Peter pandemic, they were not. They were not. Isn't it funny how they didn't talk about no nuclear weapons during that Peter pandemic? When they had billions of people, 6 billion, to take that snake bite, 6 billion people to take it, they weren't talking about no nukes, no wars, no fighting. Every government on the same page. That lady from the EU got in front of the people and said 150 million Europeans, mostly adults, did not get the snake bite. And she said, next time, we got to do it by force. So what I'm telling you people is we can get caught up in what's going on, but what's down the road is what you saw in 2020. What's down the road is what you saw in 2020. Everybody on the same page. Because you got to remember that when the Antichrist comes, he is going to have things in place. This ain't the movie where the Antichrist shows up and everybody just starts following him. That's not how that's going to work. When the Antichrist rises to power, things are going to be in place. Because people are going to want to go against the Antichrist. So there will have to be things in place to shut down things that would otherwise sully the name of the Antichrist. Yes, JV Chanel, they are still wearing masks today. Bucky Dan said 74% out of 100 perished from the snake bite. So when we talk about threats of a Holocaust, we saw it. We're seeing the results of it now. It's just hidden behind everything you see going on. But make no mistake about it. We saw it in real time. Same kind of campaigns. If you get it, you're a good person. If you don't get it, you're the enemy. If you're against how we're treating you, you're a domestic terrorist. You don't deserve to go to school. Listen what they were saying. You don't deserve to be a part of society. We should just round up all the people that don't want to get the snake bite and put them in. This is what they were saying. The exact same rhetoric behind the Holocaust was the same rhetoric behind the Peter pandemic. It was the same rhetoric. And in China, they were doing it. Let's continue.
Close the week talking about a serious issue, and it is the rising scourge of anti-Semitism in America, particularly among younger people. You may have seen this clip, but if you haven't, I'm going to play it for you. There is a podcaster named Myron Gaines. In full disclosure, I'd never heard of this person or his podcast, but he's very popular among younger listeners. He's got a large following on social media.
Now, Scott Jennings just told you that he never heard of Myron Gaines. That's what he said. But he heard of Myron Gaines based on a clip that the young lady was saying on his show, Fresh and Fit. I told y'all that black people are the people of influence. When that girl gave her incoherent statements, that's when everybody said, wait a minute. Who is this guy? We got to get him off Rumble. We got to shut him down. Keep in mind, Myron Gaines has said way worse than what she said. It ain't even close. But my question is, why now is what Myron Gaines doing on his show so important now? Why is it a big deal now? Why is everybody jumping on Myron Gaines' train now? He's been saying it. He's been doing it.
Have this thing called the Fresh and Fit After Hours podcast, and he's holding a roundtable with young panelists. The conversation turns to Hitler and the Holocaust and the Jews. I want you to listen carefully and prepare yourself for what you're about to hear.
What do you guys think about Hitler?
What did the Jewish did something to the Germans that made them act a certain way, but nobody wants to talk about it. Like the Jews don't want to take accountability.
They don't.
Yes.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
That's why like there was up to something, so the Germans wanted to take them out.
Like payback.
It had to be something. Like Germans wanted to take them out, all of them out.
They damn near
Martin
wiped
likes
everybody
history.
off the map.
They started it. So get somebody
Damn,
that
he's
mad.
Here we
choosing hard.
go.
Like, yeah, talk about them.
The Holocaust was the only way he can take out a huge population, like a huge amount of Jews all in one setting. But I already know what's going on. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I know, like, the Jews did something. That's why they sent up here. They're trying to take back, and get repercussions, especially from America, like from Americans. So they're taking over the government and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, how do we take them down?
How do we take them down?
Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta kill them.
I had to say it.
My bad, y'all.
Genocide.
My bad.
Hitler, he had the plan, but his plan was just too, like, very, like, gruesome, if we can say it.
Listen,
He said,
he had to do what he had to do.
But he had to do it.
He was like,
Listen, he was trying to save the world.
I
It didn't
agree.
work out. He just didn't
I
do what he
mean,
had to do.
Jews are the reason why the healthcare system and everything around us in the government is collapsing, because they're sitting up here stealing away from the American people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard.
Now, I want you to pay attention to what he just said, Scott Jennings. Now, folks have said way worse than what that young lady said on Fresh and Fit. I've been watching videos. I've been watching debates. I've been watching all this stuff. There has been much worse stuff said than what that young lady said. But the difference is she's young, she's cute, and she's black. And she's black. Now, Scott Jennings wants you to believe that that's the worst thing he's heard, when I can assure you that it ain't. Everybody's jumping on that clip of Myron Gaines, but Myron Gaines been talking, running his mouth the whole time. So my question is this propaganda? Is everybody jumping on this clip propaganda? Because what they're doing is they're taking what this young lady is saying, and they're saying that she represents the youth. She represents the young people. Is that propaganda? Is it propaganda to make what she said the worst thing ever said when we clearly know it's not true? Half of what she said didn't even make any sense. Half of what she said didn't even make any sense. Incoherent, babble. So my question is it propaganda though? Because Myron Gaines has been doing this on his own. He's dressed up as a Hasidic Jew and he's done everything. Everything. And not one time have these folks ever got on Myron Gaines' case. But the moment Myron Gaines has a black girl on there, two of them, but one of them mainly talking, but two of them talking, now all of a sudden, this is the worst thing they heard. This is cap. It's cap. The truth of the matter is that black people are the people of influence. They don't want her to influence people. That's why they're making it a big deal. Not because it's the worst thing that's ever been said. That's not why. Not because what she said ain't been said a million times. That's not why. It's because they don't want her to influence everybody else. That's what makes this propaganda. Because what y'all should be saying is, this is why we're doing this. Don't say this to sentiment of young people, because it's not. Say that we don't want her to influence the young people. Paul said he hears that every day on his show. Right. Right. Thank you, Daniel Womack. Definitely propaganda, because Myron wore a KKK hoodie. Exactly. Propaganda.
A podcast hosted by a man named Myron Gaines, the Fresh and Fit After Hours podcast. It deserves all of our scorn. Laughing, justifying the actions of Adolf Hitler, saying the Jews deserved the Holocaust. Congressman Richie Torres, a Democrat from New York City, I don't agree with him on much, but on one issue, the man has had real backbone. It's the issue of Israel and the treatment of the Jewish people. He had this to say: it is profoundly disturbing to see young social media influencers casually rationalize Hitler and the Nazi regime's systematic extermination of 6 million Jews during the Holocaust. The only thing more terrifying than Holocaust denial is Holocaust glorification. The comfort with which these commentators defend the most evil man ever to roam the earth should send chills down the spine of every decent person.
So my question for you all is, why is Hitler the most evil man? Why are we separating Hitler's evil from, let's say, Mao's evil or King Leopold's evil? Why are we putting Hitler killed 13 million people? It wasn't just 6 million Jews. Matter of fact, let me just hold up. Let me just go right here. Nazis' beliefs categorize people by race, and Hitler used the word Aryan for his idea for a pure German race. The Nazis believed Aryan people were superior to all others. Their devotion to what they believed was racial purity and their opposition of racial mixing partially explains their hatred towards Jews, Roma and Sinti people, and Black people. Slavic people, such as those from Poland and Russia, were considered inferior and were targeted because they lived in areas needed for German expansion. The Nazis wanted to improve the genetic makeup of the population and so persecuted people they deemed to be disabled, either mentally or physically, as well as gay people, political opponents, primarily communists, trade unionists, and social democrats, as well as those whose religious beliefs conflicted with Nazi ideology, such as Jehovah's Witnesses, were also targeted for persecution. So Hitler killed more of the other people than he did of the Jews. My point is that Hitler killed 13 million people plus. So it wasn't just Jewish people. So my question is, when we say that Hitler is the most evil man in the world, because they say this all the time, what's making him more evil? Because if killing a human being is wrong, then how is he separate from anybody else? What makes him more evil? They all evil. They're all evil. I went and looked up some people. They said estimated victims from Mao, over 47 million. Estimated victims for Hitler, over 13.5 million. Estimated victims from Stalin, 13 million. Shane Kashek, 10.5 million. King Leopold, 10.5 million. Hideki, Emperor Hirohito, Hideko Tojo, and others, 9.3. Like, again, we talking about these people murdering in the millions. What is making Hitler more evil than anybody else that's evil? I disagree with that, because that's propaganda. That's propaganda. Hitler is no more evil than the rest of the evil maniacs. He ain't no different. He ain't set aside from them. He's the same. So when you say that Hitler was the most evil, you automatically make somebody say, why is he more evil than the rest of these guys? What did he do more evil than them? Again, we have to be honest in the conversation. We have to be honest. It doesn't diminish anything to say that Hitler is just as evil as the rest of them. It doesn't mean that you're saying that because Hitler's like them, that what he did wasn't bad. The travesty, in my opinion, is to just show Hitler and not the rest. To make a campaign about Hitler and not the rest. To not show of what human beings are capable of, not just a white German. This is what human beings are capable of. We saw Rwanda, the Hutsis and the Tutsis. We saw Rwanda in a modern era. We saw a million people at least hacked up, killed in the most brutal way in this modern era. We've never seen terror like that, like we saw in Rwanda. We've never seen that. We actually saw that in real time. People hacked up, babies, women, children, didn't matter, everybody. We saw it. And they don't even mention it. Don't even mention it. So why are we picking and choosing when it comes to atrocities? Paul said Genghis Khan too. Why are we picking and choosing when it comes to atrocities? Because it's propaganda. Because everybody knows if you say that everybody was doing this or it's happened multiple times, that everybody doesn't look at this group the same. It's propaganda. How was Hitler worse than Mao? Mao killed almost 48 million people. Hitler killed 13. If we're talking about worse, how are we qualifying worse or not worse? How? Evil is evil.
Could not agree more with Congressman Torres. It is incredible to me, the brainwashing that is going on in the United States of America and throughout the West of our young people as it relates to Israel, as it relates to the Jewish people, as it relates to what's happening in Gaza, as it relates to what happened historically in World War II. You hear the lunacy, and the casual hatred coming out of the mouths of these young people. You think about what happened on college campuses in the United States of America, folks. We have a real problem on our hands.
Yes, a goddess. That shouldn't even be a thing. I don't agree with Torres because what he's saying is propaganda. How are you going to say what makes Hitler the worst? If all human life is valuable, then what makes Hitler the worst? Hitler didn't just kill Jews. I gave you a list of people that he also killed. This is what fuels what you all want to call anti-Semitism. This is what does it. And you got to be honest. Nobody should ever say that Hitler is the worst anything. They all was the worst. But you know what's really the worst? You know what's really the worst? Everybody that was campaigning for that mRNA. Because 6 billion people took that. 6 billion. People dropping like flies. People got permanent damage. And nobody even mentions it. It's folks behind the scenes been talking about this stuff for the past 4.5 years with this stuff, what this stuff is doing to people. And they don't even mention it. And every global leader was on board with it. Every government was on board with it. And now everybody's beefing. Now people want to fight. Now y'all want to have a nuclear war. Now it's World War III. It wasn't no World War III talk in 2020. It wasn't no World War III talk in 2021. When that technology came out, it wasn't no war talk. The only war was against the people. It was all these governments warring against humanity. That was the war talk. And I'm going to say this again. There are no nuclear weapons. I don't believe it. If you all go read up on what a nuclear weapon would do, why would you want to win a war and everybody die, everything die? It doesn't make any sense. It's cap. Nobody wants to inherit a world that's no good. Nobody wants to inherit a world that's devoid of life. I believe that the whole nuclear weapon campaign is to get you and I to say, okay, take our rights. They've been talking about nuke this, nuke that, ain't nobody fired on nukes off. They dropped an atom bomb, a hydrogen bomb. Ain't nobody shot no nuclear warhead off. So I believe it's propaganda to get you and I to get so afraid that we say, okay, do this. Take away our rights. And guess what? We'll never get them back. Because once you give up your rights, there will always be a threat. That's how they get you. There's always a threat. That's propaganda. Let me go to another guy. He's pretty popular in these spaces. And then let me say this. I'm not one of those people that say that Hitler was a good guy. I heard, I guess, was it Fit? Fred? I don't know. Well, he said he's trying to save the world. I don't believe that. Hitler wasn't trying to save the world. No, stop. Stop. Okay, let me share this screen. Listen, Tierra, that is the scariest part. Tierra, the scariest part out of all of this is that people are acting like 2020 didn't happen. Like think about what I'm telling you. The scariest part about all of this is that people act like it didn't happen, even though we are suffering the consequences of it happening. And I keep trying to tell people it has not stopped happening. People still dropping like fly, like what was done in 2020 and 2021, 20 has not stopped. It hasn't stopped. They're gonna do it again. They're going to do it again. We saw global propaganda that everybody was in on and that most of the people succumbed to. That was the precursor for the mark of the beast. So when they do it again, I guarantee y'all not going to care about Israel and Iran. I guarantee when they do it again, for some reason, I don't think y'all going to care about the Palestinians. For some reason, I don't think y'all going to care about the Middle East when they do it again. Let me fast forward in this video real quick so I can get to his comments.
Them act a certain way, but nobody wants to talk about it. Like the Jews don't want to take accountability.
They don't.
That's
Yes.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
That's why like there was up to something, so the Germans wanted to take them out.
Like payback.
It had to be something. Like Germans wanted to take them out, all of them out. The Holocaust was the only way he can take out a huge population, like a huge amount of Jews all in one setting. But I already know what's going on. Like I'm not dumb. Like I know like the Jews did something. That's why they sent up here. They're trying to take back, like they're trying to take back and get repercussions, especially from America, like from Americans. So they're taking over the government and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, how do we take them down?
How do we take them down?
Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta kill the mother.
I hate to say it.
My bad, y'all.
Genocide.
My bad.
All right, not exactly a televised Mensa meeting, but you get the picture. You get this guy who says, "What do you think about Hitler?" And then the girl says, "I like Hitler." And he goes, "Yeah." And she's like, "Yeah, the Holocaust is fine," or whatever. Yeah. And then we said, "What are we going to do about those dastardly Jews?" And the girl says, "We got to kill them all." She said that, and they say, "Yeah." And that's so, you know.
I'm going to say it again because y'all see it. Now, none of these people talked about Myron Gaines when he was been talking crazy. None of these people have been. Myron Gaines has been on the warpath. But the moment a black girl, two black girls that don't know nothing, get on a podcast that they don't even care about and say something, the clip goes viral. I had a hard time even finding a clip that I showed you all. It took me all day to find that one clip. So that means that this stuff came from somebody watching the show, not even clipping it. Not even the lazy way. They actually had to go and sit down and watch this. So my point is that this is the Daily Wire. This is Daily Wire right here. This is the Daily Wire right here. So the Daily Wire, Scott Jennings, and a host of others are hopping on this podcast. And what that girl said is normal talk when it comes to this, and what they want to call anti-Jew, whatever. It's normal talk. That's how it's normal. I keep telling you all that black people are the people of influence. Nobody cares if Myron Gaines says it. Nobody cares if there's a whole bunch of viral videos saying the same thing. Nobody cares if it's people that have been doing this for 20, 30. Nobody cares. They care when the black girl says it on the Fresh and Fit podcast, not even her own platform. A young black girl who don't know nothing, now all of a sudden it's not gone too far. Paul, they've been saying that the colleges and protests, all day long. But this video, everybody hopping on this video right here. Everybody. These folks been talking crazy though. On the colleges, Myron Gaines talking crazy. Folks been talking crazy about the Jews for the past, at least since October the 7th. But for this young lady to give an unarticulated point, incoherent, for them to be able to make sense out of what she said, is what I'm trying to tell you all, is that Black people are the people of influence. Now, that's not a flex again, that's a responsibility. Nobody should be calling for the extermination of anybody. And I don't care what they did. If you think they're even bad people, even if they are bad people, it don't justify you getting rid of all of them. It's insanity. The Lord says that vengeance is mine. Let me continue with him real quick.
I have plenty of disagreements with the Israeli government over a number of matters, but I get why they are a little concerned about this. It's a very popular podcast. However, one thing that people are arguing is that this is something new. And I don't think this is really new. This kind of talk is straight out of Malcolm X. Malcolm X was saying the same kind of stuff. Even more recently than Malcolm X, you had Jesse Jackson. You remember him in the 90s? Jesse Jackson, race hustler, Black guy in New York. He called New York Jaime Town, I think. I shouldn't laugh, but it seems so quaint these days. Al Sharpton, same thing. Al Sharpton started a race riot with the Jews. So I think he also used the word Jaime. I think he said, "Come get me, Jaime," or something like that. So that's not new. There has been a hostility to Jews, especially pronounced among prominent Black people in recent decades. That's been going on for a while. Go to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Knowles. Balance of Nature. Is new, is this previously was almost entirely on the left. Malcolm X, kind of I guess you wouldn't, he's not like a hippie or anything, but he was a left-wing figure. Certainly Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, left-wing figures. Now you're seeing it creep a little bit on the right. It's pretty minor. It's more pronounced on social media, obviously, but it's relatively minor on the right, but it's there. And I think a lot of people are missing the point of how that happens. Though, and I really hate to say I told you so on this, I did call this. I've called this for years. Where you're seeing it crop up mostly is on the irreligious right, mostly. Guys who are not, I don't know, the guys on that show, I don't think they're showing up to church on Sunday in their Sunday best with their ties all done. I don't think they're doing a lot of corporal or spiritual works of mercy. Don't think they avail themselves.
I like the point that Michael Knowles said, where he said that it's because I don't believe it's a big issue on the right at all. And like I said before, most of America supports Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu's even said we have 85% of American support. But I like what he said, where he says that it's not really on the right, it's creeping up on the right, but it's mostly with the irreligious people that are not necessarily left, but it's like people that don't really follow God. It's like, people that don't really even like think about it. Even if you don't believe that the Jews are chosen, you're still not going to wish death upon them. Like even if you disagree with them, you're not going to disagree with them as existing, is my point. But I like the way he said that. But I'm also going to say that Myron Gaines Fresh and Fit clip, I guarantee that clip is going to surpass everything that Myron Gaines has done, and he's been on a campaign, literally a campaign. Literally a campaign. But I also believe this is propaganda too. Because and he even said it, Matthew, what's his name? Not Matthew Knowles, but is it Michael Knowles? Yeah, Michael Knowles even said it, that this has been said before. Like this has been said, not just said before, it's said every day. It's said every day on social media. It's nothing. That's why I went to debates, because both sides were making these claims, and there are extreme people that are that are not Jewish, that are extreme, and there are extreme Jewish people. So it's not just a one-sided issue. Both sides of the argument have extreme people that talk crazy. It ain't just Muslims, it's Jews talk. Both sides got people talking crazy. But I really want to listen to the debates to try to get some understanding and consensus on, okay, what's the real issue? Is it the land? Is it the people? Is it is it religion? Is it like what is it? Is it Judaism? Is it the government of Israel? Is it Benjamin Netanyahu? Is it the actual them having the land? Is it the people? Like, what is it? And most of the debates, most of them that I've seen, 99% deal with not actually Jewish people, but how things are run through the government. Most of the debates I see are how the Israeli government is operating. Whether you disagree or agree, that's where most of the arguments coming from. Most of the actual debates don't call for the extermination of Jewish people. They just don't. They don't call for violence towards Jews. They don't. 99% of the debates really are arguing what people believe are actual issues. Yes, Nicodemus, the state of Israel is secular. It is. D5, and somebody mentioned about the Antichrist earlier. Somebody made a comment about the Antichrist earlier. But I think the person mentioned about the Antichrist coming from Israel. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I mean, they're waiting for a Messiah. So it's just like everything that we see is lining up towards that. It doesn't mean that the Jews are doing this even knowingly. I don't believe that the Jews know that the Antichrist. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying more than likely they're building that temple for that Messiah, and we know that if Christ already came, another Messiah is going to be the Antichrist. But the Bible also talks about there being multiple Antichrists. So there may be a thing where there's multiple, I guess, Antichrist-like figures, and then it might be the main one. D5 280 said, USA public schools taught about 3 atrocities every year. 1, white enslaving blacks. 2, white genociding indigenous. And 3, Holocaust. We never learned about the Bolsheviks slaying 50 million Christians. Again, then this is what I talk about. When we talk about history, it's not objective. History is told from a victim's perspective, which makes it propaganda. If they can't tell you the whole picture, then the whole story is propaganda. What people are afraid of is that if people get the entire picture and we see that both sides are flawed, that they'll agree with the most extreme take. I don't believe that. I believe if you give people the objective truth and let them decide, I guarantee it'll make for better relationships. Trying to withhold information, trying to highlight information only makes things worse. Just put everything on the table and let folks decide for themselves, and I guarantee we'll have better relations. Even with all of the propaganda, the race relationships in America still weren't as bad as the propaganda was trying to make them. You know why? Because people used to have discussions on television. It would be an atheist on there. It would be a Christian on there. It would be a Republican. It would be a Democrat. It would be like everybody on the panel arguing and talking about an issue. That's what made race relations better, because most of the time if people believe they have a voice, then they're going to be cool with that. Most folks just really want to be heard. Most folks don't want this grandiose conspiratory plot. Most people just want to be heard. That's why I asked, is it anti-Semitism or is it human nature? Somebody said it's also reinforced with Revelations 2 and 9. I trust the Lord because he doesn't lie. And again, even that verses, Revelations 2 and 9 and 3 and 9, you have to ask yourselves a question. Who would be saying they're a Jew and not a Jew? To me, that extends beyond somebody, not being a Jew and saying they're a Jew. To me, that extends beyond that. It actually goes further into an even spiritual level. Who is a spiritual Jew and who is not? Meaning that who is presenting to be spiritual Israel, spiritual Jew, and who is not. It goes beyond just the literal interpretation. Because most folks take that and just say that just applies to the Jews, but to me, it extends beyond the Jews. To me, that extends, like I said before, I don't believe it's just one group of people controlling the world. I believe that each group of people have wicked elites that are participating in the ushering in of the Antichrist. Speaking of Hebrew Israelites, stimulated students, let me play a clip.
When Shaq is telling Kobe's.
My bad. The dude looked alike. They looked alike. Here we go.
The Israelite identity from us.
Very important. The white Jews that we see today have no.
Hold on. Thank you, Cruise Missile, for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Always supporting. Thank you. I know this money is adding up, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Y'all help the show function. Y'all don't know what's behind this black curtain. I could be in a garage somewhere. Y'all don't know what's behind this black curtain. So every little bit helps. But let's continue.
They stole the Israelite identity from us.
Very important. The white Jews that we see today have no bloodline connection with the Jews of the biblical period. They were converted to Judaism in Europe and in Russia. They were converted and have no bloodline connection with the black Jews who make up the biblical Israel that the Bible writes about and of which Jesus was a part.
Well, what happened to the black Jews?
The black Jews are still in existence. There are black Jews in America. There are black Jews all over Africa. There are black Jews in Palestine. There are black Jews everywhere. Diane's daughter complained not more than 2 years ago that black Jews had moved on either side of her house and therefore her property had depreciated in Palestine. Black Jews had depreciated her property. Jews had moved directly from Palestine to India, and the community celebrated its 1900th anniversary or something, and they had white Jews who had emigrated from Europe and black Jews who had originally come from Jerusalem at the fall of Jerusalem. Had an uninterrupted straight line of connection from the fall of Jerusalem to India. All over the world there are black Jews, but the Zionist Jews who had been converted to Judaism have taken over the control of the definition of what Judaism is, as white people do with anything. If they
So now, do I believe that every Jewish person in Israel is of the one of the 12 tribes or the 2 tribes of tribe of Judah and Benjamin? No. Do I believe that there are people that are from the tribe of Judah and Benjamin around the world? Yes, I do. And honestly, I don't think it's based on skin color. I don't. I think there's so much has happened over these thousands of years to where, I don't. But do I think that all black people are of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin? Absolutely not. I don't. Let's continue. The same thing that he's accusing the Jews of doing, the Blighties have done, the Hebrew Israelites.
Black Jews. But the Zionist Jews who have been converted to Judaism have taken over the control of the definition of what Judaism is, as white people do with anything. If they come into it, they take it over and define what it is, as you stated in your introductory statement. So we have to remember that white Jews, when you see them on the street, are not the Jews of the biblical period. And that sometimes confuses black people who ought to be black Christian nationalists.
Is he right about the bloodline? Explore the scriptural and his...
That man ended that statement with, listen what he ended this with.
And that sometimes confuses black people who ought to be black Christian nationalists. What Judaism is, as white people do with anything, if they come into it, they take it over and define what it is, as you stated in your introductory statement. So we have to remember that white Jews, when you see them on the street, are not the Jews of the biblical period. And that sometimes confuses black people who ought to be black Christian nationalists.
Is he right?
Isn't that crazy how even back then, they're talking about Christian nationalism. He said you need to be a black Christian nationalist. So again, is he wrong to think what he's thinking? I mean, it's his opinion. Should he be able to think it? Yes. Should he be able to voice it? Yes. Should he be able to call for the death of an entire group of people? I don't believe so. But should he be able to say this? Yes. If he believes it, I mean, what are we talking about? But do I agree with him all the way? No, I don't. I really don't. But do I believe there are some people of the tribes of Benjamin and tribe of Judah and possibly some other tribes around the world? Yes, I do. Yeah. Let's continue. Let's continue.
And like a liberal guy and me and Myron. And like a liberal guy and me and Myron. That show would be crazy. Myron is literally transformed into Black Hitler, and it's fucking awesome, and I'm here for it. Like the clip went viral where Myron was going off about the Jews, and Fresh was just sitting there, like totally not into it. And all these black people are quote tweeting saying, "Imagine you're Fresh. You signed up with Myron, and he's gradually evolving into Hitler, and there's nothing you can do about it." It is so funny. People go, "Myron, what skin color do you think you have?" "White." He says, "I'm not black." Dude, Myron is the GOAT. He is literally become.
Well, I understand, Myron. Listen, Myron, I understand you on that point. I feel you on that point, Myron.
Becoming Black Hitler, and I love it. He is like the realest guy in the scene. It's awesome. Why are all the most based people not white? It's not fair. Why are the most based people like Andrew Tate, Myron?
And I'm going to say this. I've seen Nick Fuentes lose a debate, maybe two. I've seen Myron lose. Like, I've seen these guys lose debates against what you would call a pro-Israel person. And I've seen them win debates. I've seen them get emotional. I've been watching both sides, you know, and I feel like I'm judging very fairly, but I've seen them lose debates. I have.
I wish, you know, the white people had some. I guess we have Zerka. We have me. I'm mostly white. But all the most based people.
Somebody said these guys are all agents. Troy KN is possible. Listen, if you want my honest opinion, Troy, it's all a setup. Because what they got planned in the end is going to everybody. They don't care about Israel, they don't care about none of that stuff. It's going to be one world government, no border, global citizens. They telling you that Islamic extremists are a problem in the Middle East. But every time I walk outside, that's what I see in America. That's what I see in the Western country. So what are we saying? Islamic extremists in the Middle East, but they also in the Western countries. Like, dude, to me, it's all a setup. They all in on it. If you ask my opinion, everybody's in on it. Chad told me that Nick Fuentes was in front of the Capitol telling folks to go in. I got to see it. Matter of fact, I might let me go find that video. Let me go find that video real quick. Let me go find it real quick. Because y'all can't tell me it's not a setup. If y'all think extreme Islam is so bad, then how in the world am I seeing Muslims in every Western country coming in by the millions? Somebody lying. Somebody is lying. Somebody is lying. Let me see. Nick Fuentes in front of the Capitol. I know people that was there didn't even do nothing, didn't even go near it, and they still got hemmed up. So it says Nick Fuentes gives a speech. Let's see. Nick Fuentes is a character, though. He is a character. Let me just try to find
We have to overturn this new world order and create the kind of country that we want to live in. Yeah! I told this story, I think, earlier this week. When I was in Washington, D.C. for the Million MAGA March, we saw a woman with her young son walking into our hotel.
No, that's not it, because that's in Georgia. That's not it. Because that's over in that's in Georgia. That's here. That's not it. Let me try to find it. It says it right here, capital of Georgia. Let me see. Okay, here it goes. Here it goes. Maybe I can show this clip. Okay, let me see. Let's see. Now again, I don't like these disclaimers. Look what they say. This video contains clips of Nick Fuentes and his supporters engaging in racist, misogynistic, homophobic, anti-Semitic, classist, and seditious activities. Like, I don't know, man. I don't like that, because let the audience decide what it is before you implant and giving us a moment of silence to tell us what he's saying or what he means by what he's saying. This documentary is shared here to inform the public and to help stop white nationalist activity. Don't be racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, classist, or misogynistic. Oh, I know that's a libtard. Can y'all play the thing, please? Nick Fuentes was featured. Hold up. Listen, y'all, play the video. Y'all, play the video, please. So Nick Fuentes was in front of the Capitol, and Nick Fuentes was subpoenaed and testified before January 6th House Committee. So far, he has not been criminally charged for his involvement in the riot. 4 of his white national supporters were arrested for their actions on January the 6th. Neo-Nazi Timothy Hale Cusinelli, neo-Nazi Bate Alaska, Antime Gionette, Groiper, Christian Secker, and neo-Nazi Riley June Williams. Now, I don't know if these folks are actually neo-Nazis, but that's what they're saying. I want to just get to the video, get to the content. Notice how they're trying to listen. Stop giving me just play the video, please.
Now let's take a look at what was going on at the White House at this time. We received testimony that the president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was notified of the violence at the Capitol by 2 p.m. and likely earlier. The testimony further establishes that Mr. Meadows quickly informed the president.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's when all this started? Yep, that's when we marched on the Capitol. We've been shot at with rubber bullets, tear gas. We just heard that Mike Pence is not going to reject any fraudulent electoral vote. That's right. You heard it here first. Mike Pence has betrayed the United States of America. Mike Pence has betrayed this president, and he has betrayed the people of the United States, and we will never, ever forget. Break down the barriers and disregard the police. This capital belongs to us now.
You know what? I may come back and revisit this video, but it is quite telling that Nick Fuentes, his 4 friends got arrested and locked up, but he didn't. And he just said, disregard the police and break down the barriers and storm the. So, yeah, this is I'm gonna have to come revisit this, but that's quite telling that he didn't get in trouble. You know, well, I mean, maybe because I don't know if he went in. I don't know, but I got to look into what he did to not get hemmed up based on what he's saying on those steps. Because if they got locked up and he didn't, I'm really questioning, who he's really working for. Like I said before, I believe it's all a setup. But that was Nick Fuentes. So I'm gonna look into that this whole Nick Fuentes thing to give you my assessment on that. But this is not looking good for Nick Fuentes, in my opinion. Daniel Womack said, if Nick Friends got hauled off, but he didn't, we know what we call that. Yeah, we call that a snitch. We call that a rat. That's like that. Listen, that's what we listen. All my friends get arrested and I don't. Yeah, we know what we call that. You're right. We do. We do know that. So, yeah. Umaquai said an informant. I don't know, but based on what he just did on those Capitol steps, and based on his friends getting locked up and not him, that's real suspect. It's real. Even if he told folks to bum rush the barricade and run in there and he didn't, it's still suspect. Even if he said it and then went in his, it's still suspect. So I need to see what happened. I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna try to find out what happened. Because right now it's looking real suspect. I'm not losing weight. I don't think I'm not losing weight. I don't think so. I think it's just the angle. I ain't losing weight. Will Wait, thank you so much for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Will Wait. Or super chat, my bad, super chat. Thank you, D5280, for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Listen, that's my time, you all. Thank you, Agonis Navi, for moderating. Thank you all for keeping the chat lit. Thank you all for chiming in on Instagram. Yeah, remember Ray Epps? Nobody knows where he's at either. So if Ray Epps didn't get in trouble and Nick Fuentes didn't get in trouble, but they were both telling people to storm the Capitol, I don't know if it looked like a duck and it walked like a duck and talked like a duck. It might be a duck. I don't know. But anyway, listen, I love y'all and I will see y'all soon. Take care, y'all. Have a good night.